Hey everyone, today we're going to be ranking all 27 of the current survivors in Dead by Daylight from worst to best, based on their teachable perks, their character model size, their breathing and engine noises, and finally their stealth potential within their cosmetics. Perks will be given a score of 1 to 4, 1 being the worst and 4 being the best. Every other category will be ranked from 1 to 3 to make a total score out of 21. The higher the better. In number 27 we have Ash. Ash is here in our last spot and is here because he really has no positives aside the fact that it's Ash Williams. Ash has loud grunts of pain and injured noises, has a large character model, and fairly average cosmetics for stealth. His first perk, Metal of Man, allows him to not take any damage for a hit from the killer. Wow, sounds great, right? Well, the catch is that to get this free hit, you first have to take 3 protection hits for other players, meaning running in front of them and taking a hit, or alternatively taking a hit whilst they are being carried. This doesn't really happen naturally in games, meaning this perk is awkward by its very existence and requires you to go out of your way to use it, possibly endangering yourself and your team as you do. Flip Flop is his second perk and one that will convert all of your recovery progress while on the ground into wiggle progress at a 50% conversion rate, so full recovery on the ground gives you half wiggle progress when picked up. This is very niche and practically relies on the killer slugging, otherwise it's utterly useless. Maybe some synergies here and there. Finally, Buckle Up simply lets you see the auras of teammates in the dying state, as well as the progress of their recovery. You also get a brief aura read on the killer when healing a down teammate, which is alright but really not enough to save this perk. In number 26 we have Jane. Head On is Jane's best perk and one of the more unique exhaustion perks that allows you to fast exit a locker and stun the killer when they pass by. This can allow for saves and also interesting plays mid-chase. Solidarity, despite its quite interesting sounding idea, is not that great. It lets you convert 50% of all heal progress you do onto others, also onto yourself. This does come in handy now and then, but broadly this perk just won't give you enough value, especially as you can't pair it with other items such as medkits. Poised is Jane's last perk, a perk that removes your scratch marks for 10 seconds after completing a generator. This does have the potential to provide for some stealth plays and also get away sneakily after a gen pop, but generally the effect is just quite average and often won't come in at points when you really need it. Interesting idea though. Jane has loud grunts of pain, a large character model, and average cosmetics for stealth. In number 25 we have Jeff. Distortion is Jeff's first perk, and an average one with good potential, but quite a short window for usage. This perk will block any of the killer's aura reading perks 3 times, allowing you to stay undetected, and also hiding your scratch marks briefly. This can be a very solid perk, or it can be kindly useless and burn all 3 usages quickly, or have none at all and the perk becomes useless again. Breakdown is Jeff's second perk and one that will break a hook after you get unhooked from it. You'll also see the killer's aura for 6 seconds after being unhooked or unhooking yourself. The hook further takes 180 seconds to respawn. Cool idea for a perk, but there's better stuff and it's got quite niche application, making it not all that useful. Aftercare is his final perk and one that allows you to see the auras of teammates after you've performed an altruistic action on them, or them on you. This aura lets you track their location and keep coordinated even in solo queue. A big feature of this perk is that there's no range cap to the aura read, meaning you can be on opposite ends of the map and still see each other. Jeff has pretty great cosmetics for stealth with his long hair and brown jacket, but has a large character model and loud grunts of pain and breathing. In number 24 we have Adam. Adam unfortunately has some very average, although quite fun perks. Diversion is a perk that lets you throw a pebble, creating a noise notification for the killer and some fake scratch marks. It requires you to stay within the killer's terror radius for 30 seconds to activate. Adam's second perk, Autodidact, is a perk that gives you special skill checks that give a bonus 15% of progress for every one of these special skill checks that you hit whilst healing someone. Each hit you get, the more progress you'll get on the next hit, until one skill check can heal 50% of a teammate's health. However, the downside to this is that the skill checks are very inconsistent, and you also begin with a minus 25% progression penalty for these skill checks, meaning often you'll never reach the perk's full potential and you'll simply hinder your team. Deliverance is his final perk and can be very good, although it requires you to get a safe hook save to activate it. It then allows you to guarantee to unhook yourself when you're hooked. Great for pressure and means another teammate doesn't have to come grab you, and honestly, Adam's main save for his overall score. Adam has average noises, average cosmetics for stealth, and a large character model. In number 23 we have Steve. Steve the Hair Harrington is is a survivor with loud noises, average cosmetics for stealth, and an average size character model, further paired with a range of average perks. Lots of average, it's a shame we aren't scoring looks. Steve's first perk, Second Wind, requires you to fully heal a teammate for it to activate. When active, this perk will instantly heal a health state 20 seconds after being unhooked. This perk is slightly better after its buff, but still kinda average. Camaraderie is a perk that pauses the hook timer for up to 34 seconds when a teammate is nearby, allowing extra time for hook saves and general punishment for camping killers. This perk is good with coordinated teams, although in most games there won't be much value in it. Babysitter is a perk that works as a heavily watered down borrowed time. It covers scratch marks, injured noises, and the aura of the survivor you rescue from the hook, revealing your own to the killer for 4 seconds. It's a nice idea, but I personally find it to not be entirely useful in most instances. In number 22 we have Quentin. Quentin has some of the least impressive perks in the game in all honesty, but despite this he does have some redeeming qualities, his face not being one of them. He has average noises, cosmetics, and character model size. His first perk, Wake Up, lets you open the exit gates 15% faster and also see them highlighted with auras when within 128 meters of them. Visual lets you recover from status effects such as hemorrhage, exhausted, blindness, and hindered 20% faster. This effect also applies to any survivors within 8 meters of you, persisting for 15 more seconds once they leave this range. This is especially great for cooling down your exhaustion perks quickly, which is something no other perk can do in the game. His last perk, Pharmacy, guarantees that you'll receive a green medkit from your first chest search. It also speeds chest opening speeds up by 80% and reduces the audible range of chest search noise by 8 meters. Overall, pretty average. In 21 we have Laurie. Laurie has had quite the fall since her last list after her numerous perk nerfs which have left her in many ways without the things that made her great. Her first perk, Object of Obsession, is a perk that will reveal your aura to the killer every 30 seconds. It does however allow you also to see the killer whenever they see you, also boosting your repairing, healing, and cleansing speeds during this time. Big nerf, and now it's a pretty average perk. Decisive Strike allows you to jump free of the killer's shoulders if you've been unhooked in the past 60 seconds and haven't done actions, including healing or doing a generator. This perk is purely an anti-tunnel perk now, making it still strong, but it does however have less of an oppressive factor, making it slightly worse than before. Soul Survivor is a terrible perk that will gain you a stackable aura blocking radius of 24 meters for every one of your teammates that die or escape. Horrible effect and generally counterproductive. Laurie has loud noises, bad cosmetics for stealth, and the positive of a small character model. In number 20 we have Felix. Built to Last is a perk that helps to extend the duration that your add-ons last for. After depleting an item's charge entirely, this item will gain 50% of its charge back after 10 seconds of it being used. This is pretty decent, mostly for medkits though. This perk shines when it comes to medkits and can make them quite strong. His second perk, Visionary, works to help you find generators easily when in proximity of them, by highlighting them with a yellow aura and when you're in a 32 meter range of one. You briefly lose this effect for each time a generator is completed, for 16 seconds. This perk is nice to have but really isn't too worthwhile beyond indoor maps and if you're new to the game. Desperate Measures is a healing perk that gives you a 14% increase to healing speeds whenever you or a member of your team is injured. If all 4 are injured, this accumulates to a 56% heal speed bonus. This perk quite literally activates when you need it the most and helps to heal up teams in quite dire situations. Felix has a large character model, average cosmetics for stealth, and average grunts of pain and breathing sounds. In number 19 we have Yun-Jin. Smash Hit arguably gives some of the best value out of any of the exhaustion perks, as it allows you to not only stun the killer but also gain a ton of distance right after. This perk will give you a speed boost after stunning the killer with a pallet. This is balanced however by the fact that pallets are a finite and valuable resource, so this perk can't be used as recklessly as something like Sprint Burst say. Self-preservation is a bad perk to be honest, that hides your scratch marks, grunts of pain, and bleeding for 10 seconds when a nearby survivor is hit with any attack. This just isn't good because this probably means that the killer isn't even going for you, and yet this perk applies what is basically a selfish effect to protect yourself. Maybe this could work well if a teammate blocks for you, giving you a shot to get away, but it's just so niche. Finally, Fast Track is pretty average and a perk that gives you 3 tokens for every time a teammate is hooked. These tokens equate to 1% instant generator progress when a great skill check is hit, allowing quicker progress. This perk can come in really clutch to be honest and just give an extra edge, especially when the team is down bad a bit. Yun-Jin has average noises, bad cosmetics for stealth, but a small character model making her good for hiding. In number 18 we have Ace. Ace is completely saved by his god tier injured and breathing noises that are incredibly quiet, leading many to say that he has built-in iron will. Ace, if you don't care about perks, is the best survivor choice in terms of noises and character size. Perks wise, however, he's not that great. His first perk, Ace in the Hole, will guarantee add-ons when you pull an item out of a chest, with a high chance for purple add-ons. Very niche and only applicable to chests, it's just not worth it really. Up the ante gives a 3% boost to luck for every teammate who is alive, up to 9%. This sounds kinda useful, but luck as an effect literally does barely anything, aside giving you a slight bonus chance to unhook yourself. Generally, it's just safer to get a teammate to do that anyway though. Finally, Open-Handed is actually a decent perk, although it does need to be paired with other aura perks to work well. This perk will extend all aura reading ranges by 16 meters, allowing you to gain a ton more information for you and also your team, as this perk affects their perks too. 60 meters is quite a bit. Ace also has average cosmetics and an average size character model. In number 17 we have David. Dead Hard is David's best perk and one of the best in the game. Dead Hard is an exhaustion perk that lets you boost forward briefly, negating all damage as you do. This perk is very strong because it's one of the only ones that allows you to completely negate any damage. We're Gonna Live Forever is also a very solid perk that allows you to heal down teammates twice as fast and also allow you to gain twice the blood points you make within the trial. You do this by taking protection hits or getting safe hook saves 4 times, each time giving you an extra 25% gain to your overall blood points, making this perk great for grinding BP and one of the only ways for Survivor. No Mither is generally regarded as one of the worst perks in the game. This perk will make you broken and incapable of healing beyond injured for the entire trial. It does, however, allow you to fully recover from the dying state as many times as you like and also leave no blood trails. David is loud, has a large character model, but has average cosmetics for stealth. In number 16 we have Zarina. Red Herring is probably one of the worst deception perks in the game. After you work on a gen briefly, you can hop in a locker and create a fake failed skill check on that generator you were working on. It just really isn't that great and takes more effort to make it work for the time it saves by distracting the killer. For the People is a perk that lets you transfer a health state to another survivor, healing them and injuring you in the process, and also making you broken and unable to heal. It's niche but a pretty cool perk that creates some fun scenarios. Off the Record removes injured noises and blocks any of the killer's aura reading perks after being unhooked for 80 seconds. This is nice as a somewhat anti-tunnel ability, giving some extra protection after being unhooked. Zarina has average noises, average cosmetics, and a small character model. In number 15 we have Jill. One of our newer additions to the roster, Jill has a very average grouping of perks that do enough to be okay, but not enough to be considered good. Jill has average noises, bad cosmetics for stealth, and also a small character model. Her first perk, Counterforce, can be decent against killers with lots of hex perks. This perk lets you cleanse totems 20% faster, giving an extra 20% speed for every totem cleansed, and also revealing another totem for 4 seconds after cleansing one, although the totem revealed will be the one furthest away from you. This can be really great for getting rid of hexes, but there's also games where killers have no hexes at all, making it average in my opinion due to its narrow focus on one thing. Resurgence is a perk that will give you a free 50% heal progress to yourself after being unhooked, or unhooking yourself, allowing a quicker heal and allowing you back into the action far sooner. Finally, Blast Mine is pretty average. This perk requires you to work on a generator until it is 66% complete to gain a Blast Mine. Once you've gained this, you can place the Blast Mine on any generator once working on one for 3 seconds, where it lasts for 45 seconds. This mine will explode and stun the killer when they go back to kick the gen. This perk is super cool and definitely can come in handy, but generally I find that it just doesn't get used too often, and when it does, it only acts as a very brief delay. In number 14 we have Élodie. Élodie is a well-rounded survivor with quite a few interesting perks. She has average cosmetics for stealth, an average size character model, and loud noises. Her first perk, Power Struggle, is a perk that lets you drop pallets whilst being carried, as long as your wiggle progression is at least 25%. This is fairly niche despite it being a good ability, but generally will not get a chance to be used in most games. Deception is a perk that lets you fake entering a locker, accompanied with a fake sound and locker opening animation. You then get a brief window of 3 seconds of leaving no scratch marks, allowing you to leave the area whilst the killer checks the locker that you faked. Cool perk and actually pretty powerful to be honest for deceptive reasons, but also for stealth means. Appraisal is a perk that lets you search a chest again after you have already pulled an item from it. You can do this a total of 3 times. This ability also gives you better items on chests that you search for the second time. Pretty strong and can provide fight a team with multiple keys and medkits and more. The only downside is that it's a chest perk and the limit of how strong chest can be is somewhat restricted, also RNG. In number 13 we have Cheryl. Cheryl is a pretty solid character overall and comes in at our midpoint of this list. Her first perk, Soul Guard, is one that requires an active hex totem to work. When a hex totem is active, this perk will let you pick yourself up off the ground as many times as you like, also applying a brief window of endurance after getting up off the ground, letting you do it safely. This perk is good just for the endurance effect, but the fact that it lets you have a solid counter against hexes makes it pretty damn powerful, especially in a time where hexes are quite popular. Repressed Alliance is an odd perk that will let you block a generator with claws of the entity after working on it for 60 seconds, and as a result letting you block it for 30 seconds, allowing you to stop the killer from breaking it, especially useful for killers who run Pop Goes the Weasel. This is very niche, but I think it can be used quite effectively and affect the match by countering killer perks. I think it's pretty average, but it's really on the border here of being considered bad, to be honest. Talking about bad, we have Blood Pact, a fun perk that just isn't good. This perk will give you haste when you heal the obsession or the obsession heals you, then requiring you to stay within 16 meters of them to retain this haste effect, almost making you speed buddies who have to stick together to keep that speed up. This perk just kinda sucks because it has quite a specific requirement for what is a very average effect. Cheryl has average grunts of pain, bad cosmetics for stealth, and a small character model. In number 12 we have Yui. Yui is a character with average grunts of pain, average cosmetics, and a small character model. Yui gets the very unique perk Any Means Necessary, a perk that allows you to pick up a dropped pallet, back up. This perk has a 60-second cooldown and takes 4 seconds to pick pallets back up, making it pretty decent, although this does require killers not to break pallets to begin with, which is why this is really average overall, I think. Lucky Break is a perk that has been buffed quite considerably, and one that provides a complete removal of blood trails and scratch marks for 60 seconds whenever you are injured, deactivating once more when you are healthy. This perk is very good and allows you to escape very easily, especially when paired with Iron Will. This perk can really be insane. Also in maps where there is lots of obstruction, the only downside to this being that there is a timer to it so it doesn't just last forever, despite its quite strong effect. Breakout is a perk that aims to help you help teammates wiggle out of the killer's grasp, by providing a 7% movement speed bonus when near a killer carrying a survivor, and also a 20% bonus to their wiggle speed, both requiring you to be within 6 meters of the killer. Not very good, and generally the more effective method of this is to just take hits. It's fun for sure though, just not typically good. In number 11 we have Jake. Jake is pretty decent. Iron Will is a very strong perk that makes your grunts of pain when injured completely silent. Calm Spirit does a similar thing by stopping you from screaming and also making it so crows will not be disturbed by you. Iron Will is a very top tier perk and Calm Spirit not so much. Jake also has Saboteur, a perk that lets you break hooks without a toolbox whenever a teammate is being carried, and you can do it at a quick speed. Jake has average noises, an average character model, and good cosmetics for stealth. Jake's main saving grace is his very powerful Iron Will, which acts as a counter to some of the strongest killers in the game, such as Spirit. Also for the fact that he has pretty good overall stealth potential. In number 10 we have Nancy. Inner Strength is a perk that lets you heal yourself after being in a locker for 8 seconds, with the only prerequisite being that you have to first cleanse a totem to activate this perk. This is good too, as it encourages you to counter any possible hexes that the killer has. Fixated is a perk that will give you a base increase of 20% to walk speed, and also allow you to track your own scratch marks. This can be pretty useful for evasion, but also for keeping track of what the killer can see, allowing you to play more effectively. Best Together finally is her worst perk, and one that reveals the aura of the generator you're working on to survivors within 32 meters of you. It also will show the auras of all other survivors for 10 seconds when someone is downed, and you are repairing a gen. This could be considered average, but generally it's better to stick with perks like Kindred if you're aiming for easy coordination in solo queue and such. Although I guess for that then this perk maybe could be bumped up a bit. Broadly though, it's pretty Nancy has a small character model, average stealth cosmetics, and average noises. In number 9 we have Feng. Lithe is a great exhaustion perk that will give you a speed boost after fast vaulting a pallet or window. Technician makes generators far easier by making it impossible for failed generator skill checks to produce a noise. It also makes the sound of the generator less audible from an 8-meter range. Feng's last perk, Alert, is great for information, revealing the killer for 5 seconds every time they do a break action, including breaking pallets, walls, and generators. This perk is very underrated I think, and provides great opportunities to gather info. Feng has loud noises, generally bad and quite bright cosmetics for stealth, but does have a small character model. In number 8 we have Leon. Leon's first perk, Bite the Bullet, lets him make absolutely zero noise when healing, including the healing sound, but also your injured noises, also disallowing the killer to see you if you fail a healing skill check. Generally there's better alternatives, but this perk does a solid job and does provide complete silence when healing, which is actually quite valuable. Leon's next perk, Flashbang, lets him craft a flashbang after repairing 50% of a generator. He can then enter a locker and create a flashbang, which he can drop and stun the killer with, allowing for saves on teammates, mid-loop blinds, and just generally a distraction. It's actually very useful, at least that's how I found it. Maybe I'm boosting this a bit, but I think because you can craft as many as you like, and it encourages gen completion, this perk is pretty good. Finally, Leon has Rookie Spirit, a perk that requires 3 great skill checks on generators to activate. Once active, this will let you see all the auras of regressing generators. Kinda niche, but this is pretty solid as it can let you track the killer to an extent and also catch any generators before their progress is completely destroyed. Not bad. Leon has average injured noises and breathing, average cosmetics for stealth, and an average character model. In number 7 we have Kate. Kate is quiet, has a small character model and an average set of cosmetics, making her pretty good for stealth. Her first perk, Windows of Opportunity, will reveal the auras of pallets, windows, and breakable walls within 20 meters. This effect only goes away once you vault or drop a pallet during a chase, where it will then take 20 seconds to come back. Her next perk, Dance With Me, will hide your scratch marks for 3 seconds after performing a fast locker exit or fast vault, allowing for some quick mid-loop deception and stealth play. Not bad, with only a 40-second cooldown. Finally, Boil Over will make your wiggling when being carried by the killer 75% more effective, making it harder for them to carry you. This perk also blocks hook auras within 40 meters of you. This just isn't too great. Typically the killer will get you to a hook regardless of this perk's usage. But hey, with a super altruistic team, then it can potentially come in slightly useful. In number 6 we have Tapp. Tapp is a very underrated survivor with a good range of perks as well as quiet noises, good stealth cosmetics, and his main downside being his large character model. His first perk, Tenacity, lets you crawl 50% faster on the ground and also recover whilst you crawl, allowing you to punish killers who slug greatly and also allow you a second chance sometimes to get away, as you can make quite a lot of distance whilst on the ground with this. Detective's Hunch is a perk that lets you see the auras of generators, chests, and totems within 64 meters of you for 10 seconds whenever a generator is completed. If you have a map, the map will also keep track of what you see. This perk is great for locating your next generator and also locating any totems and possible hexes in the trial. Very solid and great for information that also requires you to play the objective. Stakeout is Tapp's final perk and one that gains you a token for every 15 seconds that you remain in the killer's terror radius. These tokens allow you to convert good skill checks into greats, making you generally more efficient and allowing some decent bumps to heal speeds. Also, you gain it passively, so it's pretty great. In number 5 we have Nea. Balanced Landing is Nea's best perk. It's an exhaustion perk that gives you a speed boost after falling from somewhere high up. When this happens, you also won't receive a stagger effect when falling from high up, which is a nice bonus. I would put it higher, but I think because this perk is very map reliant in comparison to other exhaustion perks, it doesn't quite make it to that highest tier. Urban Evasion is a perk that will make your crouch speed 100% faster. A very average stealth and evasion perk, but works well. Finally, Streetwise is a perk that makes your items gain an extra 25% of their charges before they deplete. This effect also applying to survivors within 8 meters of you, persisting for 15 seconds when they leave this range. Not bad and can come in handy for medkits especially. Nea has average injured noises and breathing, average cosmetics for stealth, and a small character model, making her a solid pick overall. In number 4 we have Claudette. Her first perk, Empathy, lets you see all your teammates who are injured with an aura, with a range of 128 meters. This is great just for keeping track of people who are injured and also just general information of where your team are. Botany Knowledge is actually very strong just due to its stability as a healing perk. It boosts your healing speed by 33% and also your healing item efficiency by the same amount. This is just a nice baseline buff to your healing. Finally, her renowned perk, Self-Care, a perk that lets you heal 50% the usual speed and gives a 20% decrease to depletion rate of medkits, as well as its main ability to heal yourself on command whenever you like. This perk is not time efficient nor generally good for the team as a whole, but it does let you you heal yourself whenever you like, which isn't to just be ignored. This is a good perk, it's just not a very efficient one. It can come in very useful though. Claudette has a small character model, good stealth cosmetics, but loud grunts of pain. In number 3 we have Bill. Bill, despite his loud grunts of pain and average cosmetics and character model size, has some of the best survivor perks. First off, Borrowed Time, a perk that is a key thing to bring along for just about any team and allows a great counter to any tunneling and generally just provides a guarantee that the survivor getting unhooked will get a second chance of escape if the killer is close by. This perk applies the endurance effect to a survivor you've unhooked for 12 seconds, keeping them protected for this duration basically and making sure they aren't down straight away. This can be used in so many ways and really helps out a team. This is a must bring. Unbreakable is Bill's other amazing perk that allows you to pick yourself up off the ground with an increased recovery speed of 35%. This does only have one usage but can come in really clutch against sluggers and often during the end game when all hope seems lost. Finally, Left Behind is his worst perk with a niche effect of allowing you to see the hatch's aura when within 32 meters of it, but only when you were the last survivor in the trial. This is just so narrow in application. It can be useful and it can help out, but generally it's not too great, especially as the hatch is quite loud anyway, making it fairly easy to find often without the need for an aura. In number 2 we have Dwight. Dwight is very well rounded. He has average grunts of pain and breathing noises, average cosmetics, and an average size character model. First off, he has Bond, a perk that lets him see the auras of teammates within 36 meters. This is great for coordination, especially in solo queue, and can help out a bunch. Prove Thyself is a very good perk that allows gens to fly by. This perk applies a stackable 15% bonus to gen speeds for every teammate on a generator with you, up to a total of 45% extra speed. This perk also gives you double blood points for co-op actions. This perk is great because it makes gens go quickly, and at the end of the day, they're the main objective, making this perk very solid and helpful for a team to use. Leader is his final perk that gives a bonus of 25% for healing, sabotaging, unhooking, cleansing, opening, and unlocking actions of teammates who are within 8 meters of you, persisting for 15 seconds after they leave this range. This is okay and gives a nice little bonus here and there, but generally it's just quite average in its effect. Not bad by any means though. In number 1 we have Meg. Meg is our number 1 and a survivor with loud grunts of pain, average cosmetics, and a small character model. Dwight and Meg could be pretty interchangeable for this spot, but I think her slightly better perks and her smaller character model makes her a little better. Meg has 2 great perks. First off, Sprint Burst, a perk that lets you break into a sprint once you start running to gain a bunch of ground, pretty much on command. This perk is great just for the fact that it can almost double the duration of chases just by requiring killers to catch up before the chase really starts. Also, it's really great for map traversal and such. This perk has a 40-second cooldown and is debatably the best exhaustion perk in the game, maybe even the best perk in the game. Adrenaline is a perk that instantly heals a health state once all generators are completed, as well as giving an extended speed boost of 5 seconds, allowing you to get up and away. This perk is a lifesaver in the end game and leads to so many clutch moments. It's not quite getting full marks because it's only applicable at the end of the game, even if it does have a very strong effect. Finally, Meg has Quick and Quiet, a perk that makes fast actions silent so the killer won't be notified. This has a 20-second cooldown and can let you get some interesting stealth plays mid-loop and works well generally for the purpose of evasion. Remember though, if we aren't considering perks at all, then Ace is the best survivor for his combo of stealth elements and very quiet grunts of pain. Alright, that's it. I do hope you enjoyed, and please do drop your own list down below. Thanks, and goodbye.